What's up, everybody? Welcome to the final round. I am your host, Isaiah, and today we are going to be going over UFC Fight Night Garcia versus Onama taking place this weekend, November 1st, at the Apex. Back to the Apex after a long stretch of going everywhere across the world. So, kind of nice. People are sitting on it. The Apex still, it's kind of nice to go back there once in a while. I will admit, you know, would you rather have no fights at all on the weekend? Yeah, exactly. So take what we got. And honestly, the card is not that bad. It's a hardcore fan type of card. You got to know these guys to really care about the card in a way, but it's a solid card. So let's get right into it. Before that, make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe. We're trying to get to 50 subscribers before 322. We have 3 weeks. We're already at 34 subscribers. We only need 16 more. So please subscribe and share it with all your friends. And yeah, let's get right into it. First fight of the night, we have Talita Alencar versus Ariane Carnelossi. I am going to be choosing what is her name? Tatiana Alencar. I look at Ariana Carnelossi and just hot and cold. Her last fight against Pereira Rodriguez was disqualification, that she got because of headbutts. Before that, she lost to Lupe Godinez, and I mean that was a year and a half, almost a year and a half ago. And then before that, her loss to Lupe was 3 years ago. So she's not an active fighter. Which, on the other hand, in Tatiana Talita Alencar, sorry, she is active. Fighting consistently. She did beat Vanessa Demopoulos in her last fight. Vanessa Demopoulos isn't a high ranked type of fighter. She lost to Stephanie Luciana, and yeah, I mean, she also lost. Got a draw with Stephanie Luciano on the Contender Series. So she's more active, but I can't base it off activity because literally last week, the first fight of the night, Mizuki Inoue, who had been inactive and not fought in 2 years, came in and outworked um, Jacqueline Amorim. So yeah, you really can't base it off activity. So it's hard to choose, but based off who they've been able to, you know, beat and fight, I think Talita's wins have more merit than Carnelosi's wins would have. So I'm going to be choosing Talita Alencar in this fight. Move on. We got Phil Rowe versus Seokyo Yun. I am choosing Seokyo Yun to win this fight. Ow, sorry. In his last fight against Open Elliott, he came in short notice, was the underdog, and all 3 rounds he won convincingly. Just took Open down with some judo throws, outworked Open Elliott, and just made Open Elliott look like he didn't belong. So, and Owen was seen as maybe as a up and coming prospect in the welterweight division, but Shokeko was able to beat him, and I think he's going to be able to beat Phil Rowe, who is coming off a win to Angelusa, where he was losing until Angelusa gassed in that third round. And Phil Rowe, I'll never forget that finish. He's got Angelusa's head pinned against the cage with his hand, and he's just doo, 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 just punching over and over again. I mean, it was a great comeback victory. But before that, a lot of losing to Jake Matthews and Neil Magny because he's too complacent. He doesn't commit. He doesn't, he's not confident. And I'm not gonna say he's not confident. That's the wrong thing to say. He like when he gets taken down, he's very willing to just stay on his back because he does grappling, so he's probably confident that he can survive on the ground. So it's just he's too complacent, and I think Kyo is gonna be able to come in here and honestly get the win, probably by decision. What's his face? Phil Rowe is a hard guy to finish, but yeah, the pick's gonna be Suk Young Ko. Let's move on. We got Alice Ireland Ardelon versus Montserrat Ruiz. Very interesting fight because Montserrat Ruiz hasn't fought in almost 2 years, and she was riding a 3-fight losing streak. That oh my god, what is with these women and inactivity, dude? It fucking boggles my mind. Oh, losing to Eduardo Mora almost 2 years ago. 2 years ago. And before that, lost to Jacqueline Amoro 2 years and 2 months ago. Before that, lost to Amanda Lemos 4 years ago. And she's not active. She's not active. And she's taking on Elise Ireland, who, did lose to Shauna Bannon and Melissa Martinez, which aren't really the best wins. Or, I mean, best losses. So Martinez is a better loss, but and then she beat Ryan Dos Santos. So, I mean, she's a minus 420 favorite, Arlene is, but I don't think she should be worth those odds because this is women's MMA. You can never tell anything can happen. Just like look at last week. Like I said, in a way, beat Amora, and she was a massive dog off of 2 years of inactivity. So Ruiz could do the same exact thing. I don't think she does. I think at least Arlene, comes into this fight more active, more willing, and gets the fight done by probably a decision. So let's move on. We've got Ketlin Vieira versus Norma Dumont. I'm choosing Norma Dumont to win this fight. Um, it's a very important fight in this division. I'm surprised it's so low in the card. I mean, I get why it's so low, but it is kind of the next like number one contender fight in this division if you look at it. Um, but I'm choosing Norman Dumont in this fight. She's on a 5-fight win, or her last 5 fights she's won. Last fight was a year ago against Irene Aldana. And before that beat G Jermaine Durain. I cannot talk, dude. Sorry. Uh, Whatever. Sorry. GDR. And then beat Chelsea Chandler, Carol Rosa, and Diane Wolf. All decent fights. I mean, decent woman. But Kelvin Vieira, on the other hand, been hot and cold, hot and cold. Losing to the likes of Raquel Pennington and Kayla Harrison, who the two of the last 3 former champs in the division. Um, none of which who haven't had the fence yet. And then beat a high home by split decision where I can't remember. I don't know if she I don't remember. Beat Penny Kianzad and then Macy Chasson. Decent. Macy Chasson's the best win she has out of all those, but I think Norman Dumont can come in here and win the fight. Yeah, I don't have much to say about it, so let's move on. I said this card was really good. Like it was being slept on. It was underrated, but I'm getting all these fighters that I'm like, what the fuck? We got Dante Johnson versus Shujika's a dumbass. Sorry, Shujika's Dumas. I'm picking Johnson to win this fight. Um, he's coming off that Contender Series KO win, where if I remember correctly, he fought at heavyweight. on short notice, right? I was watching live. I should know. Yeah, yeah. He fought a heavyweight on short notice and KO'd him in the first round. All right, and now he's going down two divisions and fighting Cedric Dumas. I'm picking Dante Johnson to knock this fool out. All right, and I'm pretty sure Dante Johnson was originally on the card. Yeah, he was fighting Nick Klein originally, so Rodriguez is taking this on short notice. He did fight a month ago, where he got no contest against Zach Reese because he got kicked in the groin and became Rodolfo Bellato type actor. So he's not. I'm not sorry. Rodriguez Dumas is not good. He is his only two wins in his last five are Abu Azatar and Dennis Tuulin. All right, he's not a good fighter. He literally at 317 he had to pull out because he couldn't get his ankle monitor off, and he got arrested this year because and was found hiding in a dog crate. He was hiding in a dog crate. So I'm picking Dante Johnson to come in here and starch Rodriguez Dumas. Let's move on. We got Timmy Kawamba versus Chung Ho Lee. I am choosing Chung Ho Lee to win this fight. Um, if I remember correctly, Chung Ho Lee, in the last fight, beat Cordovis Romeus. Sorry, my cat's being crazy if you hear that in the background. And before that, beat Long Zhao by split decision. He's taking on Timmy Colombo, who started. I'm pretty sure he started his. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, Timmy Colombo has started his career, UFC career at lightweight against Balaji Oki, then moved down against Lucas Almeida, and then moved down to 135. So part of me wants to pick flip and pick Timmy Colombo after going over that because he's looked pretty well in his two losses. And the last fight looked real good, got a knockout. So I'm gonna st- I'm gonna stick with my pick at Chung Ho Lee. Yeah, Chung Ho Lee. Let's move on. We got Billy Alcana versus Kevin Christian. I'm picking Billy Alcana to win this fight. Uh, Kevin Christian coming off that Contender Series win over Francesco Mazzio a year ago. Um, and if I remember correctly, he's kind of a guy who's swinging wild shots, not really technical or fluid with his shots. He is a tall, fucking light heavyweight at 6'7", but I think Billy Alagana, he has. I think he has more of a ground game than Kevin Christian. Why is Kevin Christian his name? He's Brazilian. So weird. I'm picking Billy Alcantara in this fight. I think he can just get Kevin to the ground, and just outwork him for a decision. Probably won't be the most exciting fight, but I think Billy Alcantara gets it done. Let's move on. We got Alan Nascimento versus Cody Durden. This is a short notice fight for Cody Durden. Alan Nascimento was supposed to be taking on Rafael Estevam, but I'm choosing Alan Nascimento with this fight. Cody Durden in his last five he's fallen off. Let's be real. And his last win over Matt Schnell, I really can't ring as high level because Matt Schnell also is on the very back end of his career. He's lost to Tagir, Bruno Silva, Joshua Van, and in his last fight 4 months ago, we got fucking dropped and then ground and pounded by Jose Ochoa. So that's not the best look. I think that chin is diminishing, and he is, you know, nearing the back end of his career, but he's taking on Alan Nascimento, who riding a three-fight win streak over Jake Hadley, Carlos Fernandez, and Jaffa Filo. Where let's be honest, Jaffa Filo got bit by a spider, fucking killed him in that fight basically. So Alan Nascimento got the win. But I think even a win over Jaffa Filo, who got bit by a spider, became Spider-Man in his next fight. Um, Still rings as high level. I like Jaffa Filo. I think he's a hot prospect. So I'm picking Al Nascimento to win this fight. I think he can probably lock in a submission near the end of the second round, probably. Um, but yeah, Al Nascimento by submission. Moving on, we got Charles Radke versus Daniel Frunza. I would love to fade Radke, but I'm not. I'm not. I think Charles Radke can win this fight. I look at Daniel Frunza and his last fight, a doctor stoppage against Reese McKee. And yeah, Reese McKee has looked a bit better as of recent, but let's be honest, Reese McKee still isn't high level in the UFC or even UFC level. Um, but I think he is a durable sort of guy. But I think Charles Radke can come in here and fucking be a bull, be Chuck Buffalo, come in here and slug with this guy. But I think he should utilize a game plan with his team because he does train with Bilal and he trains with Brennan Allen, so he does have the wrestling factor that he could use, but he never used it. So here's what I say: if Charles Radke comes in and uses his wrestling, I think he can win this fight. I think he can come in here and win this fight. If not, I think Daniel Frunza is durable enough to where he will get dropped and he will get rocked, but he will recover. And if he recovers and Charles does not get him out of there, I think Daniel Frunza can win this fight. So I'm going to pick Charles Radke by early finish, but if he doesn't get that finish, Daniel Frunza is live. But let's move on. We've got Isaac Adalgarian versus Yadir Del Valle. I am choosing Isaac Adalgarian to win this fight. In his last fight, in my opinion, no wait, not his last fight. 2 fights ago, when he fought Christian Rodriguez, in my opinion, he got robbed. I thought he won that fight, to be honest, against C-Rod, but they gave it to C-Rod. C-Rod is known as the prospect killer. He has done that a lot to a lot of guys. But I don't know. I like Isaac Dalgarian. He is better than people think. And but the year coming off his contender series submission over Connor Matthews 5 months ago. No, not his contender series. What am I talking about? His submission win over Connor Matthews 5 months ago. It's just Connor Matthews is not UFC level, so I can't rank that as a solid win. Whereas Isaac Dalgrana has beaten and KO'd guys like Francis Marshall, should have beat Christian Rodriguez, and Brendan Mariotte. So I think Isaac Dalgrana comes in and he wins this fight. Um, Probably gets it done by unanimous decision. I don't know how much, you know, we don't know how well Yadir's chin is right now. So I'm picking Isaac by decision. Let's move on. We got Jeremiah Wells versus Athemba Agorimbo. I'm choosing. Oh man, I'm choosing Themba Gorimbo to win this fight. Jeremiah Wells is a fucking 39 years old, and while Themba Gorimbo is no spring chicken at 34, That's still 5 years younger. And I feel like Jeremiah Wells has been in here for a long, long time. My God. His last two fights, he lost to Max Griffin and Carlson Harris. Um, Not been the most active fighter. You know, he fought a year and 8 months ago where he lost, and then before that, 2 years and 2 months. And his last wins are Matthew Selmsberger, which has not aged well. Court McGee, come on, and then Mike Mathatha. I don't even know who the fuck that is. So yeah, I mean, he's got power in his pumps, in his shots, but at 39 years old, I don't know what he's gonna be able to do. And yeah, Themba did lose to Vicente Luque in his last fight, and then his entire family and everyone clowned on him for that. I think he's gonna be motivated. He's not gonna come in here. He's gonna be technical. I don't think that's gonna be affecting him. All that talk, his family was talking and all that. And I mean, the Ramirez Barimaj win has aged a lot better because Ramirez had looked pretty well. But Nico Price, come on, not the best. But I think he can do enough in this fight to beat Jeremiah Wells because he's taller, he's got the long reach, he's younger, and yeah, I think Samba gets this fight done by decision. Move on. We got the co-main event. We've got Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Ante Delia. This is an interesting one. I want to pick Delia in this fight because he's kind of a prospect in the division. And yeah, I know people are gonna say he can't be a prospect. He's 35 years old. 35 is kind of different at heavyweight than it is at the lighter weights. That's kind of like the peak prime at heavyweight is 35. So he's kind of where he wants to be in this division. And coming off, a solid debut win against Marcin Tybura where he KO'd him or TKO'd him, and Waldo Cortez Acosta, on the other hand, fought Sergey Pavlovich 2 months ago and lost by decision. Before that, he was riding a five-win streak where he beat Sergey Spivak, Ryan Spann, Robelis of Spain, and Andrei Arlovsky. Solid wins. Mostly by decision. His only KO was Ryan Spann, who is a former light heavyweight. So moving up a division in his debut fight, kind of got caught by Waldo. Waldo is one of the most active heavyweights I've seen in a while. He's like 2 months ago, 4 months ago, 7 months ago, 1 year, 5 months, 1 year, 9 months. I mean, last few fights more active than his last five, but he's a durable guy. He was taking shots from Sergey Pavlovich, but I can't say Sergey Pavlovich does not have the power just based on his last fights because ever since the Tom fight, Sergey Pavlovich has been a shell of himself. Not really committing to his power that he used to commit to. So I don't know what happened to Sergey Pavlovich. I don't know if his power is overrated, if he just fought some, not so high competition like Derek Lewis, Tai Tuivasa, Curtis Blades, all these guys, and they ran into Tom, and then Volkov beat him. So I mean, Sergey Pavlovich is a good fighter. It's just he might be a bit overrated. So I don't know if I can rank that loss to Sergey as well. So I'm going to fade the favorite, and I'm going to pick Ante Delia. I think heavyweight's being painted as a dead division. And I know I've been guilty of saying the same thing, but looking back at it, it's got active contenders, dude. It's not a dead division. It's just a dull, low division. It's at the point where what's a good comparison? I mean, it's at a point where flyweight was a long time ago. no one really caring about it, and not really, contenders getting up into the ranks before they get beat by these other mainstay guys, and the champion just beats the same guys, and it just becomes stale. So we're kind of seeing a different. Some contenders are coming up in the rankings, like Ante DeLea is one of them, Walter Walker, Mario Pinto. We got some contenders coming up. So I think if Ante Delia comes in here and beats Waldo Cortez Acosta, he could see himself in a future title shot within the next year or two. So I'm picking Ante Delia to come into this fight and win by decision. I don't think he can finish Waldo. Waldo is a fucking tough dude, and he's eaten some solid shots before. But if Ante Delia finishes him, oh shit. But the pick's going to be Ante Delia. Let's move on. We've got the main event. We got Steve Garcia versus David Onama. I've been back and forth on this fight all week. Um, it's a sleeper fight. People aren't viewing this fight as highly as it is. It's kind of like the next generation at featherweight in a way. I know Steve is 33 years old, and then David is 31. So they're not young spring chickens, but they're ranked. They're in the rankings, and they're trying to make their way towards a title shot. But Steve Garcia, his last 5 fights, he knocked out Shailan Jordan Becky, Mel Costa, Sung Woo Cho, Kyle Nelson. I mean, the Kyle Nelson one aged a bit well, based off the Vancouver card. And then his last fight, he beat Calvin Cater 3 months ago. That was a solid win. He outworked and just beat Calvin in a lot of ways. That I didn't think he could. So he surprised me. So Steve Garcia is, he's a menace. Like his nickname says, he's a mean machine. He goes in there and he works these guys. He tries to put it on them. But I do see some flaws. He does leave himself open when he blitzes in to try and KO these guys, and he does get hurt. And then when you look at David Onama, he does have some power in his shots. In his straight shots, he's got some serious power. So I mean, you look at him. Like the last fight, he did get taken down, but he beat Giga Chikadze on a unanimous decision. Before that, beat Roberto Romero, um, beat Jonathan Pierce, beat Gabriel Santos. I'm picking Steve Garcia to win this fight. I think he's been more tested at the higher level. Calvin Qatar, I think, is just better than Giga. I mean, Calvin has beaten Giga, so, but I don't know if he can finish Onama. We have seen Onama hurt before, but I don't know if we've seen him finished. His last, no, we haven't seen him finish. He's only lost to Mason Jones and Nate Landwehr by decision. The Nate Landwehr fight was, I want to say, it's a bit closer than people give credit. So I'm not saying he won, but it's a bit closer than people think. So I'm picking Steve Garcia to win this fight. I think he's more tested. I think he's just more, experienced. I think he can go in there and win the fight probably by unanimous decision. I don't think he can finish Renamo. I think he hurts Renamo a little bit in one of the rounds, but I think he just outworks Renamo by unanimous decision. So the pick is going to be Steve Garcia, and honestly, it's a solid fight night. Um, Definitely one for the hardcores, but definitely tune in. Definitely tune in. So thank you all for watching. That's gonna do it for this breakdown video. Let me know what you thought. Let me know if fucking I was awful talking today, because I definitely was. But like the video, guys. Comment, subscribe. Like I said, we're trying to get to 50 subs before 322, so make sure to subscribe and share it with your friends so they subscribe too. So thank you all for watching, and remember, all greatest fighters leave it all in the final round. Peace.